cast for that.
No.
So tell us about Impulse and what can we expect from it?
Do you have an answer?
What can you expect from Impulse? It is, in the world of, there's a whole world of superhero stories out there. We're at Comic-Con. It's like, you can't throw a stick without hitting, somebody promoting something in a superhero genre or somebody dressed like a superhero character. But Impulse is really unique, and it kind of makes sense that we're on YouTube because that's a brand new channel. Because it is a really grounded and fun approach. Maddie plays a high school student who, when she has a traumatic event happen to her, teleports away from it and discovers she has the ability to teleport. And Impulse sort of explores how that impacts everybody in the town, and most importantly, how it affects Henry, because Henry's the name of her character. Because it happens during a sexual assault. And the person assaulting her is gravely wounded because she's not that good at teleporting at the beginning. It's her first teleport. It's extremely destructive to things and people around her, including the person who is assaulting her.
Just destroying her performance.
Yeah. But not in a way that I really feel will speak honestly, obviously speaks honestly to the kind of people who come to Comic-Con, but really to the YouTube audience, right? Because they're used to seeing reality. It's YouTube. So it makes sense that, it wouldn't be, she gets bit by a spider or, gets crushed in an avalanche, that this superpower would develop in a situation that's all too real and grounded and something that is very relatable to and traumatic. Because I like that one of the things that's going to set Impulse apart is that Henry's ability to teleport is more of a curse than a gift.
Sorry, guys.
In the interview you mentioned the importance of is hidden behind a veil of science fiction. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think Impulse deals with very, very real issues. I think the cool thing about this show is that it's about this small town called Reston, New York, and the people in it, and they all have very interesting lives apart from the superpower. I think the superpower is a sprinkling of interest on top, but it's about the drama and the reality. And I think, what was your original question? I was going to say something about.
The importance of...
Oh, okay. So my character Henry is assaulted, and because it happens the first time that she learns that she can teleport, those two things are forever linked, and she deals with that throughout the series. And I think the veil of science fiction gives you the opportunity to really dig into these real topics in a way that is, not like
it just makes it more palatable.
Yeah.
Right. Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith dealt with issues of trust and honesty in a marriage, which, as a filmmaker, I would not want to really, I wouldn't be interested in making that movie, and I wouldn't really want to go to a movie theater and see those issues, but give those characters automatic weapons, and then I'm interested in then those issues, I'm interested in exploring those issues. So in the same way that the issues that Impulse explores, because as Maddie so eloquently said, there's the veneer of the popcorn veneer of teleportation and superpowers isn't a reason, we still take place on planet Earth with real characters who have serious issues, because everybody has issues. And anyone says they don't have issues is lying. Like, we all have things we're wrestling with, and in this particular town, we're exploring everybody's issues, and it is, as you said, it's the sprinkling on top that somebody suddenly teleports, and it causes it wreaks havoc on what was already going to be, kind of a fraught and fun world for these characters to try to navigate.
Now, do you have any funny stories working with the cast?
Yeah. Do I have funny stories working with the cast? The thing is, it's such a serious show for my character especially that a lot of the time I had to be in a really dark place. But we still had a lot of fun. Like Missy Pyle can do an emotional scene. She can go from just being wild and crazy and having the best time of her life to just crying. They'll say action and she'll be laughing and then it'll just be, her emotions are always up here, in her throat, ready to go. And I'm not like that, but we still had a lot of fun. I don't know if I have a specific story. Doug, do you? Was I fun?
I don't know about. Here's the thing. The way TV works. No. The way TV traditionally works, you shoot a pilot, and then you show it to the network, and they decide, whether they want to order it to series or not.
Yeah.
And because Maddie, as the world is starting to discover, is a huge star, they of course were going to order this to series. And then you go back and you write the rest. You write the rest of the season. You have ideas, but you write the rest of the season. And we brought in a showrunner to write. Gary Spinelli, who wrote American Made for me, my Tom Cruise film American Made, really worked with me on the pilot. A couple of writers did, but he was the one who was really on the set with me every day. But he's not a TV person, and Lauren LaFranc, who comes from, I forget which Marvel show she came off of, but she came in to run, to write the rest of the series, and she looked at what we had done in the pilot and looked at the assault scene and said, that trauma is going to stick with that character forever. It's not, and brought a kind of insight, because I really was trying to do a grounded show, and she was like, you got most of the way there, you didn't get all the way there, and I actually want to go back and I want you to shoot additional material for that assault, because when I had shot it, it made me uncomfortable as a filmmaker to shoot an assault scene, and so I had sort of tiptoed around it a little bit, implied things more than showed them, and Lauren's like, you got to go back in there and do it. So I had to fly back to Toronto, where the series was there shooting, to work with Maddie to shoot this, go back to the assault scene, and I was terrified, because it's really uncomfortable. Doing any kind of sex scene is uncomfortable, the assault scene is really uncomfortable. And Maddie was like a rock. She was like, I was trying to, maybe you don't even realize how uncomfortable I was, because I was trying to pretend. I was trying to act like I know what I'm doing and I'm comfortable to make everybody else at ease. But I was terrified, and Maddie was like, let's just do it. Let's just not tiptoe around this. And she became sort of the rock that I hung on to. It's true.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I just feel bad that you actually noticed I was scared, because I really was trying to.
In blocking the scene, I could tell you were but it was because you wanted us to feel comfortable. I don't even think it was you being, maybe it was you being scared, but I think you wanted us to feel comfortable with how far it went. Yeah.
Oh,
How's your day going?
it's great.
It's going, and it's going great. This is our first Comic-Con, both of us.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we're really excited to be here. It's fun.
Do you like the weather out here?
It's great.
I mean, can't complain.
It's I live in LA, and so this is nice and mellow compared to what's going on in LA.
What's going on in LA?
So hot.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and it's pretty warm right there right now too. But it's a whole different thing here. It's beautiful.
So tell us about Impulse. What for you two?
Impulse is about a young woman who has discovered she has teleportation abilities, which is brought on by anxiety and fear. And the first incident happens when she's being sexually assaulted. So our show is about her dealing with that sexual assault and also this new power that she has and figuring out how it all works in her new life.
So I really don't want to leave anything
Oh, okay, I'll begin. So I play Jenna Hope, and when Henry, Maddie Hassel's character, moves to town with her mom Cleo, they move in with Thomas, Cleo's boyfriend, and I play Jenna, who is Thomas's daughter. So when we first meet Jenna, we kind of see that she's almost, in many ways, the opposite of Henry. She's lived there her whole life, she's in tune, and she's with the popular group in her school, and she doesn't really want to take any time to get to know Henry or have her jeopardize her social standing. But when the assault takes place, we really get to see Jenna's true colors. She's going to be there for Henry, she's a compassionate person, and she's going to be the rock that Henry needs, and their relationship develops from there.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And my character, Deputy Anna Halchin, is a cop that's in town. She's also new in town, which Henry and my character have in common. And she's a woman. She is black. She is new, and she that's how she feels like an outsider. But she discovers quite quickly that there is some corruption in town, corruption in her police force, and she's the lone officer who's going to take on the powerful, powers that be, and get to the bottom of it.
Have you two done scenes together?
We have we done any?
Scene together?
I don't think we have any.
I don't think we have any
The
scenes
two of
together.
us have 0 scenes together, but such a shame. Season 2.
Season 2?
Yeah.
We hope.
We're hopeful. We don't know yet, but I'm
We don't
being
know.
positive.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any funny stories working with the cast?
How many?
Oh my God.
What do we tell?
Funny stories.
We had a lot of fun, but we all, just as you were saying earlier, that we're very supportive of one another. We deal with some pretty heavy stuff on our show, so there was a lot of levity to sort of counteract the stuff that we were dealing with. But we've grown to really be quite fond of each other. We have a big group text that's been going
We do
since
for
last
so
year.
long.
Anytime anybody does something new, we all check in with one another. It's great.
Yeah. So really it was just about, like, even though time's on set, we really wanted to stay in the zone and take all these themes very seriously, but we just created a really supportive environment. Everyone on our show, they're just great people, and we feel really lucky to be able to work together.
That long text thread, did it take up a lot of storage on your phone?
Yes.
Because we're all actors, so we all wanted the last words.
Yeah. Oh my God, it just goes forever.
Oh my God, go ahead.
What's next for you guys?
Nothing for me. I write as well, so I'm working on some of my own projects just to try and keep the creative juices flowing for sure.
Yeah, me either. I'm just so happy to be here supporting Impulse and the show, and I hope everyone watches it on YouTube Premium. But it's just opened so many amazing opportunities. We have such a grounded, real tone to our show, and I'm really looking forward to whatever opportunity I get next.
Speaking of YouTube, was it Chapter on other networks before YouTube? If you know.
You know what? That I don't
Yeah,
know.
we're not sure.
Honestly, I feel like I remember Doug talking about how he was sort of chatting about it with someone from YouTube at a party, and before he realized he had pitched the show.
Yeah.
And they sort of loved the idea right away, and so I'm not sure that there was anyone else.
Yeah, but we're really grateful that it landed with YouTube and YouTube Originals, because they're really at the forefront of like this new age that we're in, and they gave us a lot of freedom to do things that I feel like it allowed us to portray things more honestly and accurately in a way that maybe we wouldn't have gotten to do on a network show.
Yeah.
They made available the first 3 chapters.
Yes, the first 3 episodes are available for free, but if you continue with YouTube Premium, you can watch all 10.
And you're gonna get hooked. We
Yeah,
know
you
you are.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, even when I started watching the show, and I know what happens, but I was so riveted by it, and also because we don't see each other's work.
No.
Like I said, I didn't have any scenes with Sarah. She's so good at it. oh my god.
Look at this lady.
It's been so. I didn't normally if I love a show I'm gonna binge it right away, but with this one I was literally had to restrain myself one a night because I wanted it to last. I wanted to savor it.
Yeah.
It's that good.
And there's so many different things going on in the town of Reston. Like as Anuka said, watching the show for the first time, there are so many elements of the show that each of us are not involved in. So it's almost like watching a show that we're not in.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
This is the first time here at San Diego Comic Con?
Nope. No. How about you?
This is my eighth.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. In a row? You're first. You're first. Eighth in a row?
Yes.
Wow, you're hardcore.
You know, right?
And where are you from?
I'm from Peru. From Pantangalatan.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
I'm from New York City.
Right on. Cool.
What does YouTube bring for media and entertainment?
What does YouTube bring for? I'm sorry.
Media entertainment.
I mean, for us, they were just starting when we went to them with the idea. So, we like that they were a startup in some ways, that they were new and that they were ready to take risks.
Yet still had a huge audience.
Yet having this enormous audience, they're Google. So the idea of somebody breaking ground and changing the mold, and at the same time having all this technology behind them was really exciting for us.
And I think, we made a show that, while we think anyone can watch the show, that some of the main characters are teenagers or young. And I think that YouTube's a place where young people are viewing things in huge numbers. And so I think it was a great way to find a huge part of our intended audience.
Was there other networks being shopped around before YouTube?
Never got that.
We actually never got that far. Doug had a meeting at YouTube and he told them about the idea for the show, and they actually ordered it in the room to production. So that doesn't happen very often, and we didn't want to say no to that.
Right.
And to be honest, that's the selling shows is the worst part of the process. We like to make shows. So they want to make it and we want to work with them.
So, Impulse is a mix of action, science fiction. Why do you think this mix works?
Interesting. We've been working with Doug for a long time, and he likes to take a genre and reinvent it, and
mashed up different genres.
Mash it up. So the idea, we like YA, we like youth shows, and we produced a show called The OC a while ago, and we like science fiction, and the idea of mashing up science fiction and YA, you don't see that often, but our version of it is always going to be more grounded, more honest. And we were just saying earlier, like in our world, nobody else has a teleportation power or superpower. So that's kind of a unique spin on our show.
The way we like to bring genres together is that any element of the show by itself, somebody might say, "Oh, I've seen that before," but when you get the recipe right and you mix together different elements, it becomes really unique and original.
It's a way to stand out in the market.
Tell us about the character process of what you guys went through.
The character process?
Yes.
I don't know where to start.
Henry.
Yeah, I mean, it really started with Henry. I mean, I think a lot of it was informed by Doug's experience making Jumper, and the idea of a young person coming of age with a superpower added into the mix becomes sort of a catalyst for becoming a young adult and the challenges. So it all really starts with Henry, and giving a teenager a superpower just makes growing up that much harder instead of easier. And that's kind of true with all the characters. If you look at almost all the characters, are almost all outsiders. Towns is an outsider, Sheriff Anna is an outsider, Missy's character, Maddie's mom is an outsider, obviously Henry is an outsider. We like outsiders, we like anti-heroes. So a lot of this was driven by creating anti-heroes who are outsiders and then see what happens.
And I think we wanted to also build in a certain level of honesty to all the characters. And I think, for example, we were just talking about this, almost all the characters in the show at some point or another make a really bad decision. But that's really honest. Like, people make bad decisions all the time. It doesn't make them stupid. It makes them human. It makes them real.
Yeah, I was just about to say, most of the characters seem like they're very human opposed to other shows where it's all big, bulky superheroes.
Yeah, they're very heroic. Our characters are anti-heroic.
So would you say this is a dark version of the superhero genre?
It's dark at times, but it wasn't our intent to be dark. I mean, I think obviously the fact that there's a sexual assault in the center of the show creates a level of darkness, but I think the main thing that we were striving for when we started developing the show was honesty. I think Dave was just talking about it. Most shows that touch on a superpower take place in a world of superpowers, and our show takes place in a world where that doesn't happen.
It takes place in our world.
Yeah.
And that feels honest to us.
No worries. It's all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.